What do we think about the top overall pick?
For me, I mean, it was everything was leading up to this. So to me, I wasn't surprised when Kyler Murray was a guy, but I'd probably been more surprised if they went with Quinnen Williams or Joey Bosa or Nick Bosa. I'm sorry. So in this situation, we already knew that was coming up. The coach had already talked about him, recruiting him in a high school. They had the same age, and it was just too many things that were working together for me. I think it's a really good fit, though. And now we're going to talk about the other concerns I have, but I think Kyler Murray is going to give them an opportunity to be competitive sooner rather than later with his athletic ability and the way he can throw the ball.
Well, a fit. A lot of times what you have, for example, the Washington Redskins draft Dwayne Haskins. Well, does he fit Jay Gruden's system? Is Jay Gruden going to have to adapt to him? You don't have either question here because you have a coach who coaches a system that this player is going to play in and is somewhat familiar with. So right off the bat, you've solved a lot of issues right there that you normally don't have. I think the other thing with Murray, when you watch this guy on tape, there's two things. One, this guy can make every throw in the book, and he's got great speed and athletic ability. He's 5'10", but in today's NFL, you play the shotgun. Well, 75% of the time, Philadelphia. 78% of the time, the Bears. 80% Kansas City. Chicago. It's a run-pass offense. They're running a college offense, what this guy is doing. So his biggest thing is the body build going to hold up with the hits because he's going to get hit?
Gil Brandt, who is soon to be a Hall of Fame personnel guy from the Cowboys, loves him, says he reminds him of Peyton Manning. What do you think about him?
Well, ever since I popped the film on and watched him play, he looked like Peyton and Eli on the field. And so it was the same coach, Cutcliffe, having kind of really brought the kid up through the system. Played at Duke, wasn't surrounded by a great supporting cast, but when you look at this kid, he's tailor-made to be in Eli Manning's quarterback room. I mean, literally, it couldn't have worked out any better. I think the only issue that the Giants really faced was they knew they loved the guy. They knew Eli would have a good relationship with him, having known him for years. Going to the Peyton Manning Passing Academy. I mean, that's literally perfect. The only issue was, do we take him at 17, or are we going to be forced to take him at 6? When I watched his pro day, he threw the ball as accurately and in the right spots as anyone that I've seen in the last 10 years. I mean, it was on the money. Every ball that he threw, even afterwards in the interviews, talking with DJ, he was saying that he put the ball in locations where he wanted to, missed it in locations maybe a foot off. I mean, it was pinpoint accuracy. He doesn't have as big an arm as Eli did maybe back 10 years ago, but I think the accuracy and then the athleticism that he has, talking about the new offenses that are being ran, he's going to be able to utilize that earlier. So I think it's a good scenario for them. You almost knew this was going to happen just based on the connections that they had there. I think it'll be a good situation. Maybe a little high, but I think they kind of felt like they had to do that because everyone was starting to see that this guy's going to be a good player.
And how do you know if it's high? That's the thing. Right? If he's your guy, he could easily be someone else's guy, and you don't want him off the board. So I don't really get that argument. If he's a good
player at some point, what's the difference if it was 6 or 17? You got the player you wanted. He's able to sit behind Eli and learn from the guy.
Now, you said that they have had a relationship in the past. Do you think that will continue to be a good relationship under the circumstances? Because obviously there's been talk about Eli being on his way out. They draft Daniel Jones awfully high. There will be pressure to put him on the field.
Well, there's competition always. So it's never going to be a situation where Eli's excited right now. There's no way, right? They drafted a guy that's going to eventually replace you. It's only a matter of time at this point. So Eli has his competitive juices. He's going to go out there, continue to work. I know he's been working really hard in the offseason, putting in great work. He's throwing the ball really well. I expect him to have a great season this year. I think it's going to be a good thing. I think it's going to make Eli be even sharper. I think knowing that someone is in the room that's eventually going to take my job is going to really hone in what he's doing. And they're going to build off each other. I mean, me and Eli competed when I was in New York, but it was always a good thing. We made each other better. We fed off of it. During the season, it's going to be great. Daniel's going to have, literally the smartest guy I've ever been in a football room with. He's going to have him in the room, in the meeting rooms, and all you got to do is just be a sponge. Just take it all in and then use that when you get your shot.
Derek, was that a shot at you?
I wasn't in a football room with Derek, to be clear. And he was 12, actually, the last time I was. So he wasn't quite to that level.
All right. So the reaction in New York, it's going to be strong. This is the Daily News cover. Blue who?
Yeah, no, I'm with them. That's New York, though.
Yep.
Daniel's going to be able to handle it.
Oh, there's more. This isn't it. The Post, Blues clueless.
Yeah, just frame these, Daniel. Frame these and then pull them out when you need to.
You got to love the hot takes, right? 5 minutes after the draft happens.
Absolutely.
He could go on and be a Hall of Famer. Who knows?
Honestly, the pick for me was Josh Jacobs. Derek had mentioned that they had targeted that guy. John wanted a guy that can be an every down running back. he likens him to Alvin Kamara. And so, I mean, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that looks like. I know Josh was a fantastic player. He looks for contact when he's getting the football. So, I mean, that's going to be fun. Maurice can probably talk more to the specifics of the running back position with that guy, but I know Derek was super excited, and I know John and Mike had targeted this guy to be their guy early on.
Well, John Gruden always wants to run the ball. And when he was in Tampa, they had they had different guys that ran the ball a certain way, downhill. It's going to help the quarterback out. Obviously, you're not going to run into loaded boxes with AB on one side and Williams on the other. So they're building a foundation around Derek to help him improve as he goes forward as well. You need someone you can turn around and hand the ball to. You need someone to do that so you can open up the play action pass. Now, the first pick was a lot of issues about Cleveland Farrell or Farrell, however you want to say it. But I think early, like right after they won the national championship, there was a lot of mock drafts with him going in the top 10. Yeah. Him being one of the top guys. Now, somewhere throughout the process, he started to fall down for some reason, which I don't know why. But when I talked to Bucky Brooks and Daniel Jeremiah about this, normally when you have a guy after the college football season, that's where you're going to take him anyways. Some people move guys up
because it's on the film and not just on 40-yard dash time
at
the combine.
He may not be a shorts guy. He may not be a guy that looks awesome in shorts. But you know what? When you put the tape on, he flies around. He's going to get to the quarterback, and he's part of a team. Remember, those four guys were supposed to leave last year, and they all stayed, and they won a national title. And that's what they're trying to build there in Oakland, guys that have that championship pedigree.
And and Derek did say about him. He said he's the leader of the Clemson football team.
Right.
So that's one of the main things is that he was the guy that they looked to for direction. And there's a lot of good football players in that Clemson defense. So that's one of the main reasons.
There you go. They're trying to turn the Raiders into winners. They pick Clemson and Alabama, teams that play for national championships just about each year. As well as anyone, what do you think about the pick?
I like the pick. I think he's a big, strong-arm guy. One of the things they want in the Redskins system, if you ask what do you like about this guy, they want the ball out quick. He gets the ball out quick. He does not have to play this year. They've got two veterans there. He can sit and learn, and that's probably the number one thing for him. The other thing is this. He's going to have to learn how to be a pro. And he's going to have to learn how to work, going to have to learn how to study. And being drafted at home can be a positive and a negative. Yes, he's at home, but there's going to be a lot of distractions, and he's going to have to learn to manage them, a lot of them. And that's going to be the single biggest thing he's going to have to learn is manage distractions, learn how to be a pro, study, work hard, as far as training hard. I think he's a bright guy. I think he wants to succeed. I'll be disappointed if he doesn't succeed.
Limited sample size because just 1 year as a starter, but about as productive as you could be at the high level of football in the Big Ten with 50 touchdown passes.
Well, yeah, production was there in college. The arm talent is there. I mean, all the ability is all there, but exactly what Charlie talked about. You got Case Keenum, you got Colt McCoy, you got some quarterbacks that are going to be in that room, and just learn from them. Watch them, study how they go about their daily routine, and go emulate that, and then learn how to become a professional because he's only been a starting quarterback for 1 year in college. So he's got a big learning curve. The hard thing for the Redskins is there's not going to be a lot of bright spots for the Redskins next year. And he's going to be a really good player. Like, he's going to be a guy that comes out in shorts and in practice, and he's going to throw it a lot better than Case and Colt. And it's going to be hard for that coaching staff to say, how do we not put this kid on the field, especially if he's able to pick up that system early and looks the way he probably will. So that's going to be the difficult part, is kind of pumping the brakes on him and kind of just holding him back a little bit.
You could argue best available. You could argue it fills a need. Devin Bush, tell me how you think he fits in with this Pittsburgh Steelers defense.
I think it's a perfect fit. You're talking about a guy that mimics Ryan Shazier with the ability to run, cover, like we heard Kevin Colbert say, but it's also the way he plays. He plays with that Pittsburgh mentality. And that defensive mentality that they won Super Bowls with, that you have to go through us to get there. And that's what they needed to get back to. Their defense hasn't been that way. Pittsburgh has won Super Bowls when they've had a top 5 defense those years, arguably number 1 in those years. So they want to get back to that. Yes, you let go of Antonio Brown. But again, this whole draft is going to be about building this defense, getting them back on top, getting them back to being a top-notch player. And you start here with, like they said, their quarterback of defense, and that's what you need.
A flashy player, a flashy dresser.
Oh.
I think there were some people who wondered if he was hurt.
No, he wasn't hurt. I mean, that's his style. And what I love about it is it was like he doesn't care about any of that. Like, when he puts the pads on, granted, he may be flamboyant outside of the game with his dressing, but when he plays football, he's a hard-nosed football player that's going to play sideline to sideline. He's going to hit you in the mouth. And we remember those old Pittsburgh Raven games that we used to always watch with Troy Polamalu and Ed Reed. They're starting to get back to that. And I think Pittsburgh really hit this one out the park, trading up and getting Devin Bush.
How much does this change things for them, filling that particular need?
Well, that's been a need for 2 years now, right? They've been trying to figure out how to get that going. And, again, we saw how dominant they were when they had Ryan Shazier in the middle, the way he was able to cover, tackle, play sideline to sideline. Now you get a guy who can do that. We should expect that defense to go back to the top 10 this year.
The Baltimore Ravens have the fastest young wide receiver, young quarterback combination in the NFL by far, because speed is this man's game.
Sure. Explosiveness, speed. Some guys run fast. This guy plays fast in the field. So here's the thing. You got a guy that can play in the slot. He can play outside. You can put him in the backfield. You can put him in motion. He can run those what we call jet sweeps, where he comes across the formation and you give him the ball. He can run reverses. So you can use the guy in a lot of ways, but he's a big play guy. He changes the coverage. You've got to keep a safety back on him. Now, where you get into the technical part of the football, Scott, is this. They run an option offense. When you run an option offense, you have to play man-to-man, because if you play zone, you lose one guy that can come. You have to have a guy to come down and take the quarterback if he runs the ball. That's why you have to go to man. Now you force man coverage on this guy. Hey, that's right. Hello, goodbye. I don't know who's going to cover this guy one-on-one in space. This guy's a space player. He's dynamic. He's going to stretch the field. He's going to change your coverages. He'll make the coverages simpler to read, and he's going to help your running game. He can score from any place, anytime he touches the ball.
That's what Daniel Jeremiah said as well. What DJ said when he puts on the film that this kid is the fastest player on the field every time. He better be, because he only tips the scales at 166 pounds, the lightest first-rounder we have seen since Tavon Austin. So a small player.
Well, that one didn't work out so good, but I think
that one didn't work
this
out.
one will.
we will see. Can't wait to watch it there in Baltimore.
Love watching the reaction videos. Quinnen Williams, the third overall pick to the Jets, the third pick that went pretty much as expected. Then things got interesting with Cleveland Farrell at 4, Daniel Jones at 6, and TJ Hawkinson at 8 was not a surprise, but wrapped up that particular graphic there of the guys that went in the first 8. And then Ed Oliver to the Bills. Rashawn Gary gave us a great reaction when he was drafted by the Packers at 12. And then we've got here 17 through 24, and the second Raiders pick there, Josh Jacobs, the running back, Andre Dillard, the tackle, going to the Eagles before that. And then we had a bunch of trades that finished up the first round, which was finished up with the Patriots selecting N'Keal Harry, who will no doubt help them on the field immediately. Maybe one of the happier guys to come out of the first round. We talked to him earlier. So, Charlie Casserly, Maurice Jones-Drew, David Carr, favorite pick of the first round. Who'd you like?
Andre Dillard, left tackle, Washington State University, Philadelphia Eagles. Jason Peters is older than everybody at this table except me, okay? All you young people here, okay? And he's just hanging on. The guy's been a great player, but you got to get a left tackle. This guy's the best left tackle in the draft. Excellent pass protector. The Eagles have been built around their offensive line since Andy Reid took that job. That's why they won the Super Bowl. That's why in their playoffs last year. They desperately needed to get that foundation going again, and they got it with Dillard by trading up.
Marquise Brown for me is the guy, because when I look at where he went, like, he's a good football player, but what Charlie kind of spoke about in the last block, his ability to stretch the field with that run game that they're going to run in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson and what they're trying to establish there, it can be very explosive, especially when you start packing the box and you're really trying to stop that. You get this kid in a situation where safeties are looking in the backfield. I mean, are you kidding me? One-on-one situations, he's gonna be fantastic in Baltimore. I'm super excited to see what they do there.
And he probably can help in the return game as well early, too.
Exactly.
I mean, the guy that size with that ability. For me, I'm going to go home. I'm going to go to Jacksonville. Who would have thought Josh Allen falls to 7 to the Jags, right?
Sure.
I mean, let's think about it. The Jags, I had Hawkinson going there. A lot of people had a tackle going there. But you get one of the best pass rushers in the draft to fall to you. To me, that's amazing. Now, Jacksonville went to the AFC Championship with a great defense. You have Calais Campbell, who's getting older. Yannick Ngakoue, it's about time for him to get paid. You need to keep adding those pass rushers to come help you out a little bit. You get one of the best ones here, a guy who had 17 sacks last year, who can come in and the focus won't be on him. It'll be on Yannick Ngakoue or Calais Campbell. He can be a part of that rotation.
The other thing, MJ, this is why you take the best player in the draft, because guess who's still on the board? Taylor, the offensive tackle. Trade up, get Taylor.
There you go.
There you go.
I mean, Montez Sweat, the Redskins get at 26. Caleb McGarry, who we love here on NFL Total Access, and who I think Falcons fans will grow to love as they get to know him, a guy who's been through a lot and worked really hard to get there. Offensive tackle drafted at 31. Any head scratchers for you here?
Well, I mean, you brought up my head scratcher. The head scratcher for me was the Atlanta Falcons taking 2 young offensive linemen. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to be bad players. They're probably going to be great football players. But anytime as a quarterback, you get a little nervous when now you got a guard and a tackle, and they're going to be rookies in there. So that's the only thing for me, head scratcher-wise. And Charlie did a great job explaining it to me off the air. He said you pick the need, right? So that's what the Atlanta Falcons
That's their philosophy.
tend to do, right?
Yeah.
Pick the need. So, and I get that now, but as a quarterback, you're always a little concerned, right? Young guys stepping up there, but I think they're going to be fantastic players.
I would have thought that you as a quarterback would have loved the protection.
I like the old grizzled guys.
He likes those guys in 2 years.
Stuff in the beard, like just they don't have. They got the shaven face.
Like he's got the beard now. See,
yeah,
okay, he's old and grizzled,
right? That's why I like the old grizzled guys. Like
For me, I'm trying to groom mine out actually. This was like 6 months.
I like it.
It's
Looks
getting there. For me, it's the 7 teams that traded back out of the first round. That's crazy to me. So many teams had the ability to go out and get talent, and granted, some of those teams were the Rams and obviously the Chiefs didn't find a way to get up there. But there were so many teams that didn't pick this first round talent or traded back. Is that not a concern for you? Or is this a draft
what it's telling
in
you
the
is
second round?
their board told them at the end of the first it was the same as the beginning of the second, and they're playing the numbers game. The more picks we have, the better percentage we have to get players.
Okay.
So time will tell on that. Houston Texans. Okay, now people will say this is second guessing, but to me, this is how you think during a draft. It's not just about lining up your board and sitting. You got to know everybody around you. The Eagles behind you need an offensive tackle. Howie Roseman came up with Andy Reid, like we just said, offensive line. Howie Roseman has proven continually to be an aggressive guy to go after what he wants. Dillard is sitting there. Now, maybe you like Titus Howard and you feel he can be a left tackle. I haven't seen that in him yet, okay? However, Dillard, I know, can be a left tackle. Sometimes you got to know a guy behind you might come up and you have to go up and people will say you didn't have to do it. I don't know. Maybe I didn't have to do it, but maybe I did have to do it. So that's, to me, I would have been aggressive in going and got Dillard and bet on the fact that Howie Roseman was going to try to beat me to him and beat him.
Yeah.
Which player that was picked today will make the biggest impact on day one? I think that means year one.
No, that's like tomorrow.
When he shows up.
Yeah, that's when he shows up. You know how it is. Day one.
I thought day one of the draft was what we just went through, forgive me. Day one with his new franchise right there.
I'm going to go with T.J. Hawkinson. I think his ability to help in both the running game and the passing game.
Yeah.
And what we saw the Patriots able to do with Rob Gronkowski, I think the Detroit Lions and Matt Patricia are going to try to kind of duplicate that here in Detroit. You get a tight end who can block, who can be a viable weapon. You can line him up outside. He can run all the routes in the middle. And he can help Stafford be a better quarterback. Obviously, they want to get back to running the ball with the running back that they took last year from Auburn. And so they want to get back to just being a physical team. And then I think that's going to be a guy that can help day one.
I wonder how much Matt Patricia is seeing Gronk every day in practice in the games. It's like, let's get one of those.
Yeah. Because you can just pick those from anywhere.
He was drafted in the second round. I mean, what do you?
Yeah.
That's true.
That's good.
Who you got?
Well, going along those lines, you love running the football.
Oh, I do.
Josh Jacobs for the Oakland Raiders is going to be on the field literally every down. So you're talking about an impact on day one. First, second down, third down, he's going to be on the field, catch the ball out of the backfield. He's gonna have some tired legs by the end of the season.
No, he's not.
He's young.
Only had 120 carries.
That's true.
He doesn't have a lot of tread on the tires. No. That's a good point. But I love this kid. I think he's going to be a fantastic player. He's going to get a lot of touches. So get ready, buddy.
Some AFC West defensive backs might want to buckle up the chin strap a little bit because he doesn't run out of bounds.
No, he doesn't.
When he goes downfield.
Do you think they go and take another one maybe in the fifth round?
Oh, maybe. You never have too many good running backs.
You never can.
Stockpile him. Let's get Mayock back on the horn and ask him what the plans
trying to
are.
get as much value out of him as possible.
What you know about Chris Lindstrom?
Well, the guy's a physical football player. When you watch him on tape, he's a physical attitude type player. I think he's a good run blocker. He's a good pass blocker. A good solid pick. To me, I looked at him more as a second-round pick. I'm not sure if he's a great lateral guy as far as blocking the Ed Olivers of the world. Those kind of guys, the real athletic guys. But he's a tough, physical guy. He'll bring an attitude to your football team.
Does he fill a need specifically for the Falcons? Do you think he makes them a better team?
Yeah, because, between guard and tackle on the right side, that's an area that they wanted to work on. And they try to get better in the draft. And they've got two guys there. Maybe ultimately they will be better there. I think Lindstrom probably comes in, and I think if he doesn't start opening day, I'll be disappointed in him.
David brought up the fact that they also drafted another offensive lineman. They went 2 offensive linemen in the first round. Did that surprise you at all, or did you like that?
No, because they have a weakness there, so they want to get better. Now, David's point is you start in 2 rookies. Hopefully they're not starting 2 rookies, okay? Sambrilla, the right tackle, is a guy that finished the season well for him, kind of disappointing in Denver. I thought the guy could play coming out of college, so he's probably going to be your starter at right tackle. But Caleb McGrary, in time might be. Now, I'm a little worried about his athletic ability against the speed rushers. So, but you're picking at the end of the first round. There was a run on tackles. I would have taken Cody Ford from the University of Oklahoma or DeJuan Taylor from Florida as a right tackle ahead of McGrary.